recording. And welcome to week 9 and chapter 10, since we combined the two in the middle there so that we could kind of move things along, because I noticed all of you are kind of super excited getting all the assignments done, and then as things go on and life gets long, energy wanes. And so here's your chance. I will give you, I haven't put them up yet because I know you guys are still going through all the other weeks, but I will put up the chapter summary image and the challenges for this week. But again, there's nothing crazy. There's nothing to make unless you just want to do a video of what you learned or whatever. So it's nothing crazy. But so this will be your week to kind of do the new challenge as well as finish up whatever you haven't done, because next week you got to graduate. So congratulations to all of you for hanging in there. Yes, it's been a long, crazy haul. And sometimes when you commit to something a couple months ago, you just don't know what life's going to throw at you. So congratulations for being the finishers and committing to your business enough to show up and make it happen. And to really believe in yourselves, to believe in this business, to believe in the opportunity, and to believe in me to help you find the next level. And so I just think it's awesome. And that's what we're talking about in this last chapter, is the power of belief. And I love that that's how she wraps it up at the end. The very end is she talks about how she was just celebrating somebody who had done something really well and finally kind of made it and arrived, when so many times before, yeah, we get Michelle double. She had climbed that ladder and just not really had success. So if that's you, one of you, Michelle, your one is not muted. So it's kind of giving you a second. Stop talking. Okay, there you go. Okay, good job. So if that's you, and if you're like, okay, I've been here for forever in 3 days and I'm not making my goals, or I'm not progressing, or I have these big dreams and I just can't quite get there, and I can't make this dream and reality connect, that's okay. It's not over yet. The story isn't written yet. And it's all about your momentum and your belief in your energy, because one of these days, Orville always says, you're just one person away from a whole new business and a whole new life. You never know when you're going to get, like for me, it was Lindsay McCallum. She joined me in Scotland, and she just took off and brought the energy and the renewal, as well as the volume and directors and just all kinds of things that literally changed my paycheck, changed my energy to be able to give to everybody else. Because I don't know, I'm sure you guys have seen it if you've been around for a little while, but sometimes if you feel like you're having to drag your team all the time and they're just not really doing stuff, and there's just not a lot of energy and not a lot of momentum, and you're trying to do stuff and it's just not happening, that gets heavy because you're like carrying everybody on your back. And that's not our responsibility, but as leaders, that's what we want to do, because we're like, I see this potential in you and I want you to do it, and I believe in you, so come with me. And so to find somebody who actually wants to run with you, like Naomi, you have Elena, who's just, she is that fun, new energy burst of life, I guess, just into your business. And then that's when it really gets exciting, and you get to see life-changing transformations in your group wholesale volume, in your team growth, in your promotions that you can get, as well as team promotions that you can celebrate them for. If nobody's moving, there's not a lot to celebrate. There's not a lot of hope. There's not a lot of future going forward. But all it takes is one or two people that join and decide that they want to make it work to really, truly keep you going and give that blessing back to you. It's amazing what energy does. So if that's you and you're just on the edge of that, don't worry. You could just be one next person away from somebody who just decides and life is in the right place and they just take it and run with it. Which also means you got to keep looking, because it's also not our job to try to convince somebody to do more than their life is ready for, or more than they want to do, or more than they're even looking for. If they just want to look to join and get a discount, and they honestly don't even want to share with friends and family, and they're going to be super low key, that's okay. They're not going to be your movers and shakers. They're not going to push you up to promotions, but that's okay. They have a valuable part on your team as just being there with you because they love Scentsy enough that they even want to just buy it for themselves. So I think that's important for us to remember. We can't turn somebody into something if they don't have a dream, if they don't have a goal to do anything besides just have an easy way to stay up with everything and order from themselves and get a little bit of a discount. That's beautiful. But you can't build a business on, just that. So keep looking because there will be somebody just like you who says, I think I would like to do this and create a side income, or I would like to, create, I have big dreams and my job now isn't doing it. That's what I love that she talks about direct sales and how her network marketing business has created the life that she wants, and that her definition of success isn't even just money, because there's a lot of different ways to make money. Andrew, you were just telling us just barely, you're making about the same money from one job to the next, but it's the life that you want so much more from one to the other. And so there's a lot of different ways that we could even all be millionaires, perhaps. We could invent something, we could, create a business. So there's a lot of different ways to make money. Scentsy isn't the only way. But what I love for Scentsy for me is that it's been a great way for me to create the life that I want. My daughter's going on a field trip next week, and there weren't any parents because of COVID and all this stuff. There weren't any parents that were supposed to go. Well, all the other leaders or whatever can't go, and so they called me because they knew that I have such a flexible schedule because I'm home. And I was like, yes, I was hoping to go. This was like an answer to prayers because I really wanted to go with her. And because of my network marketing business, even if it's the same money that I could be making at another job, I can't have this life. I can't have the freedom. I can't have, on Mondays, my kids are home from school at 2:00 in the afternoon. I don't work after that because my kids are home. And even if I were blessed with a job that I could work from home, I would still be expected to log in certain hours. So I think that's important for us to dream big and realize, what kind of life do we want? My cute Dave, he didn't want that. He doesn't. I super value flexibility. I value that even more than money. I think I love the drive to money and I do it for money. But for me, I highly value flexibility because I'm a mom and because of just my personality. I'm kind of a all in, and then I'm kind of like, okay, I need a break. And then, okay, I'm going to go in and I'll work until midnight some nights. And then I'll be like, okay, I'm taking today off to just play with my kids because it's a remote learning day and they're home. I'm going to make them muffins. You know what I mean? Like, so for me, it's the life that that we can do. A couple years ago, we decided that we wanted to take our kids on a trip. So we drove our minivan from Idaho all the way across the United States, and we went to Washington, D.C. We went to upstate New York. We went to downtown New York City. We went to Niagara Falls and everything in between. It was a long minivan, and it was like a 2-month trip. And they dropped me off at SFR in Kansas City. That was the Kansas City year. And then they toured around Kansas City, and then they went to go visit my in-laws in Omaha, and then picked me up, and then we all drove home. And it only was possible because of the flexibility that came because of my Scentsy business. So I think where she's talking about, think about what you want. What do you believe for your business? Do you believe that it can take you to the life you want? Do you believe that it can take you to the opportunities you crave? And the whatever that means for you. Like for Dave, he wanted stability and I don't know, just I guess stability and structure. For me, I need flexibility and open-ended opportunity. I love that I don't just have to wait for a 5% pay raise next year if I do a good job. I could literally double my income if I work really hard and if things happen, like for me, that's totally a better fit for my personality. And so for me, I guess it just spend some time in your dreams, spend some time in your what ifs, or what could it be like if, or what would I want my life to be like? For me, I would love to almost live the nomad life, and I'd love to just take my cute little family and go live in Europe for a summer or something like that. That's again, my cute David, that's not his dream. So that doesn't even sound fun to him. He's like, where would we stay? And how do we know where we're going every place? But so again, spend some time in your dreams. Give your dreams power to come alive. What does your ideal life look like? What does your ideal income look like? What does your ideal home look like? What does your ideal time and day and energy and efforts look like? What do you believe for your life? What are you speaking over your business, life, and team? So much of this business has to do with our mindset. And if we're telling ourselves, oh, I'm not a good recruiter, or my team is just horrible, they're not doing anything, or I'm never going to make it to that next promotion. Well, that's true. If you say it and if you see it and if you believe it, That's going to be your reality. No matter how hard you're working, you're not going to be able to hit that next level or make it to the next step because you're basically creating it with your words. But if you can find that way to say, okay, this is my reality right now. My team is not motivated. I'm not doing well with sponsoring. I'm not whatever. It's okay to say, this is my reality. These are my cards right now. But to say, but I just haven't done it yet, or I haven't found my new team member yet. Erin, I think you are such a good example of this. You have been plugging away for so long, years and years and years, and trying hard all the time, being so consistent, showing up for all the trainings, doing all the things, and yet it's never happened for you. Okay, so Erin, unmute and tell us how many are on your team right now? How long have you been with Scentsy, and what's your current rank?
14 are on my team, 15 including me. I'm going on 10 years in November, and my current rank is star.
Isn't that amazing? And she's still here, and she's showing up for things like this, and she's still working, and she's going for annual sales this year. Huge, 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 huge thing to do. She's still making the goals. And in fact, I've seen more out of Erin this last year than I probably have the previous 10, because something changed in her. Some fire lit, and she said, I need this. I want this. This is happening. Erin, how many times have you sponsored somebody and they didn't do much?
I can't even name how many. I mean, I have one that's on my team that told me she was going to come on my team to help me out, and she's literally done nothing. Like, I don't even know where she came from, but she's still on there because the COVID regulations changed it. But I can't tell you how many I've had. I've probably had good 20, 30 team members that have come and gone.
Yeah. Well, and that's awesome that you are still here. And I guess that's just the example that I want to hold up, that you never know when it's going to happen. Just because you have, what did she say? Something about just because it's not happening yet doesn't mean it won't happen, and doesn't mean that you're not being molded and learning the lessons. And Erin, when that happens, that you become a director and a star director and a superstar director, look at all the experience you're going to have. And you can say, if someone's like, oh, it's taking me forever to get my promotion, like I can say that to people too. It took me 12 years to get to my superstar director promotion. I was a star director for 10 and a half years. It felt like forever. And I was like, all right, I'm growing grass here. I'm just going to stay. But there's a lot of people that feel like I do, and I can talk to that. I can help that because I've been there and I've been in those shoes. And I wasn't just in a waiting period. I was developing and learning and growing during all that time, to where when the time was right and the timing was perfect and everything was my time, I could slip into it. And you know what? It really wasn't an adjustment to go to that next level. So Erin, by the time you get to director, it's not even going to be an adjustment. It won't overwhelm you or be scary because you've had all this time practicing and working up. She said, so she's talking about this girl on page 102. She's talking about this girl, Nikki, on her team, who finally made it after a long time and a lot of no's and a lot of hard times. She finally made it to the top of the compensation plan. So like our equivalent of a superstar director. And she said, what I love about Nikki's story is that she's been in the business for 3 years, but she only started seeing success a couple months ago. It's about momentum. And when you start having, it's like a big tidal wave. How much more water goes into a tidal wave when the tide is coming over than just when it's either going out, or even just when there's no tide and it's just kind of there. There's a ton of force and energy and momentum and movement when it's coming in. So like I said, there can be a huge change in a small amount of time when that timing is right and when everything kind of comes together. Most people would have given up much sooner. She admits that there were many times she wanted to quit, wondering if success would ever happen for her. Although discouraged at times, she continued to remain coachable and committed. And I think that's the easiest to do when we have that dream that we're chasing, that dream, that life, that accomplishment, that achievement, that purpose that we are, that we're here for, that we decide what we want out of life. And then that helps fuel us to keep going, even when things get a little crazy or hard, or, when we're like, is this even worth it? So she said she spoke to Nikki about the power of her words and encouraged her to declare greatness over her life, her business, and her team. She began to speak faith-filled words even when success didn't seem possible. So again, instead of saying, this isn't happening for me. My team isn't working. I'm not recruiting. I'm not a recruiter. You say, okay, I need to find this. I need to change this. I need to help this. And I know that it's going to happen. And then look for ways to do that. Michelle, you've been a really great example of that recently as well. You've been with us for a long time too, and sponsored a lot of people and had a team. And you know, things ebb and flow. And then recently you've said, you know what? I want this. It's my time. I'm going to commit to this. I want to do this and make this happen. And because you guys haven't quit, you've been here for years and you're still here, and now you're making progress. And Michelle, I've loved watching you try all kinds of new things recently. Everything from your scratch offs to a bazaar, stall, fair, market, whatever you call them, because you know every area is a little bit different when you call it, but just trying to just keep trying to make it happen. So yeah, I think I think, like I said, it's important to decide what you're going for. And we, at the very beginning, we made our dream board, what that life looks like, what the elements in that life are going to be. If you say, I want to make $200,000 a year. Well, why? What does that look like? Does that look like, so then you can buy that fancy coffee maker that you're eyeing, you know? Does that mean that then you have a certain kind of car that you've always wanted to drive and then you could afford it? Does that mean that you then can fill up your kids' college accounts? Well, how much do you want in that college account? What does that look like? What does that feel like? Put it on. Imagine you're already there. What does it feel like to drive that car that you wanted? Or what does it feel like to go to the store, the grocery store, and say, I'm going to buy whatever I feel like buying, instead of having to make sure it's all tallied up so it doesn't go over my budget for the week or the month or whatever? What does it feel like when you put it on? And when you live in that moment and forward propel yourself into where you want to be, look around. What does it look like? What does your home look like? What does your life look like? Will then you finally take time to buy that Peloton that you've been wanting to have in your home, or whatever it is, whatever your dreams are. I love how she says your dreams, or your dreams, desires, and passions were placed in your heart for a reason. So I think a lot of times we're just like, well, that's selfish, or that is prideful, or that is not good to want more. I need to be content with what I have, and I need to be thankful. I think the key is to do both. To be thankful for what you have, and to do, we even did, one of our weeks was a gratitude journal, to look at all the things we already have. Because if we're always looking at what we want to accomplish, then there's always going to be more that we don't have and that we want and that we're going for. So again, it's this balancing act of looking at what we have, being so grateful for what we've been given. No matter what it is, there's always something to be grateful for, but opening your heart to what more is there for me, and dreaming big. I was talking with Rihanna this week, and she talks about how she, we are the culmination of the 5 people we spend the most time with. They influence us more than we will ever know. She spends a lot of time with really rich people, because her business owners are super rich. And she was talking about all of just the rich lifestyle that they lead. And she was like, being around them, she's like, it helps me kind of make my sights bigger and be like, I want that life. I'm going for it. And then that keeps you pushing towards where you want to go. So anyway, there is huge power in belief. There's huge power in mindset and seeing where you want to go, because then your whole mind can be like, oh, you've seen it. That's where we've been. I'll help you get there. It's almost like it'll remember if you've been down a certain road. It'll be like, oh yeah, this is familiar. Turn this way. And your intuition kind of takes over. It's the same thing with your dreams and your goals. If you can see it and feel it and even smell it and just live in that moment for a minute, let it soak in, then your whole being, your whole mind will help you figure out ways to get there. And anyway, it sounds like a little bit of mixed up juju or whatever, but I've seen it happen in my life. So anyway, all right. So enjoy chapter 10, finish reading it, and then put your takeaways. And then I will put, I've got 3 challenges for the week as well. They're easy. There's nothing digital or technical or anything crazy this week, but take some time reflecting on what did you learn? What have you done differently? What is still missing in your business? What do you need to, because we are never done. What do you find that at this point you have a nice foundation in this, but you're kind of lacking in this area? Figure it out. And then we can do one-on-ones if you would like coaching calls that helps propel even further. Or we can always do, work nights where we come together and answer questions or share what we're doing or whatever to kind of keep this momentum that you guys have done. Or like I said, or you can even keep working in your tiny teams if that's working well. You've got great people to network with, to share ideas with. That's what I love about our business is nobody is an island. Nobody's in it alone. We're all in it together to help, to share ideas. Naomi, you're going to help Andrew with digital marketing, and and Erin, you've helped us all with our partying and our online partying to take it to the next level. And Michelle, your cute idea with the scratch and sniff to even help get more bookings. And that's what this is all about, is helping each other to keep going and to keep that energy and that mindset up, because that's where the power comes. It's not even necessarily what you're doing, but it's the direction you're heading for. And big things happen from a bunch of small steps. So keep going. So anyway, now open mic for the last 5 minutes. What have you learned? What's your biggest takeaway? Have you done anything different in your business and already started to apply it and seen anything different? Or is there anything, what are your thoughts? Let's process for a minute. What are the results of this program on you so far?
I think for me, it's the fear factor. Because you're so afraid of putting yourself out there, especially when you're like, this is new to me and I don't know what I'm doing. And what if somebody is like, oh my God, this girl posts so much about Scentsy. I don't know why I'm following her. But it could totally take that other direction too, where you're like, oh my God, I didn't know you did Scentsy. I've been needing this. Hook me up with a party. Hey, I've got a friend. We think in our mindset so much that it's the negative. No, they don't want to see it. No, they don't want to see it. But in reality, we just need to flip it to the positive, as we're doing them a favor.
Yes, I love that. Especially if you're just sharing, and if things aren't real spammy or salesy, but you're just sharing of like, oh my gosh, I just put this and this in my warmer together, and these wax together are so good. You know what I mean? Then you're advertising without advertising, because you're just sharing what's going on. And then, like you said, it keeps it top of mind for them, but you're definitely not spamming. So I love that. And that's something that we have to kind of embrace. I am a direct sales consultant. I am that Scentsy girl, and be okay with it, as well as realize, like you said, they're not getting sick of you if you're not being spammy. So good. Thanks, Naomi. Anybody else have something that you would like to share? Michelle?
Yeah, I've found that I'm a bit more consistent now. And I'm getting better with social media posts and trying to post every day and trying to mix it a bit of Scentsy and a bit of what's happening in my life. So yeah, and I feel a bit more confident too. So
oh, good. That's my favorite thing, is watching confidence grow. As you put yourself out there, it's always rewarded with a little bit more confidence. And as you do those scary things, they become less scary the next time you try to go do them. So good job, Michelle. I'm excited, and you are definitely putting in the work and picking up some really good momentum. So I'm excited to see where it takes you. So good job.
thanks.
Mine would definitely be with consistency and just the go big or go home.
Especially this month, huh?
Yeah.
I love it. What do you think has given you the difference? Like I said, you've been with me for a long time. What made that switch to go big or go home?
Some of it, I think, has been born out of COVID, just having some luck with doing things that were, transitioned because of that. And then other of it has just been belief in myself.
Yeah, I love it. And that's huge. You definitely can't underestimate belief in yourself and knowing that you can do it. And look at you doing it. You're doing all the things. So good. Erin, I loved watching you just take this opportunity. And because like I said, you've even been in this LDU with me before, and you've never stepped up quite like you have this time. You know, life is so funny and it has its perfect timing, and now's your time. So it's been fun to watch.
And if it's not my time, I'm gonna make it my time.
Exactly. Let's make this time. Let's fast forward this time a little.
Yes.
Good. Awesome. Winkles, how about you guys?
I think for me personally, the one thing that like really caught me the most was the whole concept about if someone's not going to be like start with consultant and then move down to customer and then move down to a referral, like that was something like, I don't know, I feel like that should be in every type of business ever. And it was just something that like struck me really hard. But taking into consideration the business itself and the model that it presents, you know, the more we've been really focused on sales, but we are just starting. So majority of our focus has been sales. So like switching our mindset to be more
team focused.
Yeah, consultant focused. And now we got really lucky. Our first 2 teamies are rock stars.
We have 3 teamies, but one that's like
yeah.
I don't know. She's
So, like,
still on, but she's
we got
maybe
2
one day.
We got 2 sparklers in like a month. So we got really super lucky. But you know, taking some of the things that we've learned from this and applying it down line to build success for our people is something that I love.
Should I add? Okay. I think it's really helped me with talking to people because I am more of an introvert. I have extrovert tendencies, but it helps me get like the mindset that I need, I guess, as far as not just the business, but like my dream and what I can see this achieving. And also even like taking responsibility and ownership. Because I think at first, had my husband not joined me, you know, like I might have given up because I was having a hard time right about when he joined. But even when he was feeling burnt out, like I realized like, no, this is mine and I'm gonna put the work in whether he wants to or not. Like, so it helped, I guess, really encourage me and I guess see the value in our business and in our people and our team. So that's really helpful.
I think another thing that's like not directly from the class, but like we learned to create some boundaries between our business and our family, and like knowing that if we fall too much in one direction, it's not always good. So like it helped us better understand balance taking on this class.
Good.
With the responsibilities about that.
Good. Well, and you know, Orville always talks about how balance is merely an illusion and it never happens. You'll never find balance, but it's more like a symphony where every orchestra piece has their part, and sometimes they'll have a flute solo and it'll be like, wow, nothing else is happening because we're putting it all into the flute right now. But pretty soon, then you can go back to the woodwinds, and you know what I mean? So it definitely is a balancing act now and going forward. So I'm glad you guys have kind of fast forwarded that experience to where you're like, so that you can realize I need to have boundaries. I need to create the life that I want and minimize, because there's a million things you could be doing for your Scentsy business, but there's really only a handful of things you have to be doing. So doing the essential things when your family is the louder part in that orchestra, well, then you just pare it down to the essentials and make sure you're, instead of buy, host, join, like you said, Andrew, it's join, host, buy. And we're looking out of the lens of, even if you sold nothing all month, you've got to be growing your team. You've got to be offering out the opportunity. And that connection between sales is merely to help you find more people to join, actually, than it is to just, because this is just sales this is just your commission. You only get 25% of that to 30% this month. But if you find more people to join you out of those big sales because you're getting in front of more customers, then that's where it really creates some huge momentum and can really change your life. So anyway, well, that's fun. Thanks everybody for sharing. And it's been so fun to watch you all just learn so much and grow and develop. And it's, you know, it's always amazing how much can change in just 9 short weeks. So anyway, you guys are awesome. Our time is now up. Thanks for joining us on our last one. If you guys would like, we can meet together next week or whenever, just for a work session or, you know, whatever you guys want, or like a little formal graduation ceremony. But yeah, you guys are done. Ta-da! That feels so good. So finish up your assignments from this week and from any other week if you haven't finished it, because I will go through this next week. I'll give you this whole week, and then starting next week, I'll go through and make sure everybody has all the assignments done from all the weeks. So do make sure that you finish it up. It's in your best interest, because none of these things are just busy work. All of them have a purpose to help you do the hard stuff usually. If you wouldn't mind, I would love to have you guys go live on our team page, or even on your own page, and tag me or whatever, and just talk about what you've learned. Like I said, especially in our team page, just because I think a lot of times, a lot of that processing is good for you and is good for them to realize maybe they could learn the lesson through even just you sharing your lesson with them. So anyway, you guys are awesome. And I've loved every week with you. Thanks for putting in the work. And here's to some continued success and sharing our journey together. So have a great week, and we will talk to you guys later. Congratulations. Bye.